Some of that is about technology. But the most important thing in our military is our people. It's all of you. And as you advance through the ranks and start families of your own, we want to be there for your loved ones, too. This is one of the defining missions of the First Lady, Michelle Obama. On Sunday, she visited the Navy Marine Corps team and their families at Camp Pendleton. And they had a tough week. Because 5 outstanding Marines from Pendleton gave their lives last week in Afghanistan. During her visit, Michelle had a message for their families and for all military families. America is going to keep faith with you, too. When a loved one goes to war, that family goes to war. That's why we're working to improve family readiness and increase pay and benefits. Working to give you more time between deployments. Increasing support to help spouses and families deal with the stresses and the separation of war. But this can't be the work of government alone. As Michelle has been saying, 1% of Americans may be fighting our wars. But 100% of Americans need to be supporting our men and women and their families in uniform. You guys shouldn't be carrying the entire burden. That's why Michelle is challenging every sector of American society to support our military families, not just now. With our nation at war, but at every stage of your lives. So we're improving care for our wounded warriors. especially those with post-traumatic stress and traumatic brain injury. We're funding the post-9/11 GI Bill to give you and your families the chance to pursue your dreams. We've made a historic commitment to our veterans with one of the largest percentage increases to the VA budget in the past 30 years. Those are concrete actions we've taken to meet the commitment. I have to you and that the American people have to you. Because you've always taken care of America, America needs to take care of you. And that's my main message here today. We're all in this together. In our country. There isn't a military world and a civilian world. We're all Americans. There's not Democrats and Republicans. When you take the long view, we're all Americans. We all rise and fall. Together. And we all need to do our part to get through the challenges we face as a people. So, yes, we're emerging from the worst economic crisis since the Great Depression. Too many folks are still out of work here in Florida and around the country. Yes, we're a nation at war with adversaries who will stop at nothing to strike our homeland and would kill innocent people, women, and children, with no compunction. Yes, we're now battling the worst economic environmental disaster in American history. Any one of these challenges alone would test our country. Confronting them all at once might overwhelm a lesser nation. But look around you. Look at the person standing next to you. You look around and you see the strength and resilience that will carry us through. You look at this installation and the forts that have stood watch over this bay. And its people for centuries through the rise and fall of empires. Through a terrible civil war and as a nation healed itself, we became a beacon to the world. All of these men and women in uniform, all of you represent the same spirit of service and sacrifice as those. Who've gone before, who defeated fascism, defeated tyranny, prevailed in a long Cold War over communism. And now, in our time, you've toppled regimes based on terror and dictatorship. And you've given new hope to millions of people. You've earned your place among the greatest of generations. And look at the people of this city and this region, fishermen who've made their lives on the water. Families who've lived here for generations, hard-working folks who've had to endure more than their share tough. Economic times and hurricanes and storms that forced so many families and communities to start over from scratch. But they never gave up. They started over, and they rebuilt stronger than before. As Americans, we don't quit. We keep coming. None of these challenges we're facing are going to be easy. None of them are going to be quick, but make no mistake. The United States of America has gone through tough times before and we always come out stronger. And we will do so again. And this city and this region will recover. It will thrive again. And America's military will prevail in the mission to keep our country safe. and our nation will endure from these trials stronger than before. That is the history of the United States of America. That is the legacy of our armed forces. And I promise you that we will not falter. Past generations have passed on this precious gift to us, and future generations are depending on us. And as I look out on each and every one of your faces, I'm absolutely confident that you will meet that challenge. God bless you and God bless the United States of America. Barack Obama. Address to the people of Greece. Delivered November 16, 2016, Stavros Niarchos Foundation Cultural Center, Athens, Greece. Hello, Greece. Yea SAS. Kalispera. Good evening. To the government and the people of Greece, including Prime Minister Tsipras. Who I thank for his partnership and for being here, along with so many young people. The future of Greece, I want to thank you for your warm and generous welcome. As many of you know, this is my final trip overseas as President of the United States. And I was determined, on my last trip, to come to Greece, partly because I've heard about the legendary hospitality of the Greek people, your Philoxenia. Partly because I had to see the Acropolis and the Parthenon. But also because I came here with gratitude for all that Greece this small, great world has given to humanity through the ages. Our hearts have been moved by the tragedies of Aeschylus and Euripides. Our minds have been opened by the histories of Herodotus and Thucydides. Our understanding of the world and our place in it has been expanded by Socrates and Aristotle. In the United States, we're especially grateful for the friendship of so many proud Greek Americans. In my hometown of Chicago you can find them in Greektown, with their fustanellas. And together, we've celebrated Greek Independence Day at the White House. We've had some spanakopita and some ouzo. Greek Americans have worn the uniform to keep our country free. Greek Americans have marched with Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. to make us more just. Greek or American? We're all cheering for Giannis Antetokounmpo, who seems to be getting better each year. And if anyone seeks an example of our shared spirit, our resilience, they need look no further than New York City, near Ground Zero, where the Greek Orthodox Church of St. Nicholas, once in ruins, is now rising again. Most of all, we're indebted to Greece for the most precious of gifts, the truth. The understanding that as individuals of free will, we have the right and the capacity to govern ourselves. For it was here, 25 centuries ago, in the rocky hills of the city, that a new idea emerged. Democratia. Kratos, the power, the right to rule, comes from demos, the people. The notion that we are citizens, not servants, but stewards of our society. The concept of citizenship, that we have both rights and responsibilities. the belief in equality before the law, not just for a few, but for the many, not just for the majority, but also the minority. These are all concepts that grew out of this rocky soil. Of course, the earliest forms of democracy here in Athens were far from perfect. Just as the early forms of democracy in the United States were far from perfect. The rights of ancient Athens were not extended to women or to slaves. But Pericles explained. Our constitution favors the many instead of the few, this is why it is called a democracy. 1. Athenians also knew that, however noble, ideas alone were not enough. To have meaning, principles must be enshrined in laws and protected by institutions. And advanced through civic participation. And so they gathered in a great assembly to debate and decide affairs of state. Each citizen with the right to speak, casting their vote with a show of hands, or choosing a pebble white for yes. Black for no. Laws were etched in stone for all to see and abide by. Courts, with citizen jurors, upheld that rule of law. Politicians weren't always happy because sometimes the stones could be used to ostracize. Banish those who did not behave themselves. But across the millennia that followed, different views of power and governance have often prevailed. Throughout human history, there have been those who argue that people cannot handle democracy. That they cannot handle self-determination, they need to be told what to do. A ruler has to maintain order through violence or coercion or an iron fist. There's been a different concept of government that says might makes right, or that unchecked power can be passed through bloodlines. There's been the belief that some are superior by virtue of race or faith or ethnicity. And those beliefs so often have been used to justify conquest and exploitation and war.